Call the meeting to order. All of our members are present except for Shelley Lynn, who's out of state. If you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roy, will you lead us in prayer?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather today. We just ask that your presence be in this meeting and be with us and as we be with our community as we move forward. Thank you for all the blessings. We thank you for the opportunity to live where we live. And thank you for, once again, all the blessings that you bestowed upon us. Be with those that are struggling health-wise. Lift each one up to you. Lift our members, our guests, up to you as well, dear Lord. Love you so much. Ask that you forgive us where we failed you. All these things we ask in your name. Amen.
First on our agenda is announcements, and on our announcements, I'm just going to go back and highlight some of the things that we got accomplished this year. The 5-year plan came to a completion. 6 years ago, we put in place to address many years of neglect and deferred maintenance. Our number one priority was to improve amenities, protect the members' property values. The following is a partial list of the upgrades and improvements. At the marina, we added 114 new slips, basically a complete overhaul. We replaced all the foam flotation with encapsulated, which was required by the Corps by the year 2030. We added additional bathrooms, mostly women's bathrooms, and we put on a new roof. I imagine anybody that's been down there and seen it has seen a pretty big difference. The Little Red Restaurant was completely remodeled inside and out, and we now have an expanded view from the deck. 7 years ago, we had carpet on the floor. We had 1970s drapes on all the windows, y'all might remember. At that time, for me, it was like I was in a funeral home. That's what it felt like. And also, 50-something years ago, when this was first opened, you had a view of the lakes. You could see the water like you can now. A few years back, we cut all the trees down and created that view again, expanded the deck. If you'll remember, the deck was unsafe to even walk on. The wood was rotting. Indian Hills Golf Course, we upgraded to par 72 from par 70. 2 of the holes got added on. So now, not only is it a par 72, which is standard, it's also on the Arkansas Golf Trail. We upgraded the cart path. We added a driving range, and we added a golf simulator. Now we're on the Arkansas Golf Trail, along with Mountain Range. The good news is we have 2 golf courses in the town that are both on the Arkansas Golf Trail. At the bowling alley, we invested over $200,000 on new lanes with automatic scores. Before we did that, the lanes didn't have automatic scores. And at the very end, we were down to 2 lanes that would actually work. The gentleman that had been coming and piecing them together for many years retired. There wasn't any more spare parts, and we found out they were 68 years old. And so at the same time we replaced that, we turned it from a snack bar where you could buy a bag of chips and a Coke until the first full-service restaurant and bar. How you doing? Thank you all.
Hi. Hi, Dan.
On our mini golf, we upgraded the turf at the mini golf, updated the lighting, and a lot of general maintenance, including fixing up the bathrooms. The bathrooms down there are in pretty bad shape. Swimming pools, we resurfaced Mountain Ranch Pool. We got a new cover for the pool pool. The one we had was shredded. We did many miles of road upgrading over the past 5 years. We spent several $1 million of sewer upgrades and more to come. When I say more to come on the sewer upgrades, we recently, I think as of 2 days ago. We've submitted an application for a grant. Roy, what's the total dollar amount on the grant we submitted? Approximately?
$4.5 million.
All right, it's $4.5 million grant we just submitted. It combines a grant of what, 40%?
Yeah, it's a DRA grant combined with a USDA loan slash grant for forgiveness loan to the USDA.
And the $4.5 million, if approved, and we believe that it will be from what we've heard,
Yes.
40% of that we will not have to pay back. It's just gonna be a grant. The 60% will be a 40-year loan at what interest rate?
It'll be a
3 point?
It'll be a low interest right at
I think it's 3.75.
3.75 over 30 or 40 years.
Right. So to get the final approval, they're talking 6 or 7 months. And from what we understand, because of the demographics here, the average income, that's what we qualify for.
Yes.
So if they give us the $4.5 million, which from what we've been told they will, 40% of it we won't have to pay back. And the other 60%, instead of being on the 5-year plan that we came in a couple million under, will be at a 3.75 loan instead of our current rate of 7.27.
Yes.
So that's good news. And also part of that plan, which is just now happening, I think I got the email yesterday, the final. Originally, the plan was to put a new treatment plant in Grand Isle. However, our wastewater people, through speaking with other people, came up with a better idea. The Grand Isle is going to turn into just a pumping station, am I correct?
Correct.
And instead of having a treatment plant in Grand Isle, there won't be a treatment plant at all. That will be pumped over to Lynn Creek plant,
Lynn Creek Station.
which has, from what I understand, unlimited capacity.
Yes.
And instead of spending $4 million for the Grand Isle treatment plant, it's going to cost somewhere around $1.2 million to use it to the Grand Isle treatment plant. And the advantage to that is, from what we've heard from time to time, some people, when it's treated, they get a smell. If they're near that, that won't happen anymore. Now it'll go to the Lynn Creek treatment plant. So that's going to save us about $3 million. And it was able to add other projects to the whole package. They pretty much said, when you do it, go ahead and get it all done. And the grant that was submitted was for pretty much all of it.
Yeah, we have other projects that needs to go into that, like some pipe bursting and whatnot.
And this grant is not through the city, it's just from the club itself. The city the mayor had to supply a letter of support along with all the congressmen, which all of them did, and that was the final stages of getting it turned in. And from what we told them, just you gotta go through the process, 5, 6, or 7 months, and that's when you actually start the work on it. So you know more about it than me because you've been at every meeting, but that's the good news on it. $7 million of new equipment in public works that will last a year to come. When we started on all this, every single thing we had was 20, 30 years old. It broke down each month. The amount of money we were paying for repairs, old junk, was more than what you could have bought new stuff for. So public works have been totally updated. Dump trucks, road grader, oil distributor trucks, chip seal machine, one brand new garbage truck, and one recently very good used garbage truck, which they like better than the new one from a couple of years ago. Bulldozer, backhoe mower. Resort Marine we added Resort Marine when H2O Sports decided to close down business and leave. We decided to take that over so we can supply our members with service for their boats, and they wouldn't lose anything. And we added the Mini Mart store. And at the time, the Mini Mart store was really just going to be a campground check-in. But after the city took over the campground, we decided to move the Mini Mart store into the Resort Marine to save our expenses. And then the restaurant Crappy Jack's opened up, which they rent from us, they lease from us, which we weren't getting any money off that location before. And so far, they seem to have a pretty successful business. Resort Convenience was built and opened. That has turned out to be the bright spot. Originally, when it was first thought of, it was just after the county got wet and the plans were, well, what if the county gets wet, and then what if nobody opens a liquor store here? Our members would still have to drive to Clinton or elsewhere. So we thought, why don't we put in a shot to open that up, and to serve our members. And plus, at that time, a lot of the volunteers that went out and got the county wet and got the signatures were on the board. So it turned out we had a piece of property right at the county line, which means people from Cleveland County can come here. The first stop is to get their beer and wine. After we did not get that, we decided to change it into another use, which would be a convenience store, beer, wine, non-liquor, and fuel, 24-hour fuel. And that has turned out to be, out of the entire 5-year plan, the brightest spot so far. After the marina, is making the most profit of anything we've got going. So that's worked out well. And recently, Jack's, as y'all know, have got new tanks and new pumps, but they went a year without no fuel at all. If we hadn't have opened up that, there would have been no choice. If you had to go to get gas, you could either go to Reeves or to Shirley or to Clinton or to Greers Ferry. So that's worked out well for the members also. Also, something that nobody realized, we built a new fire station down off New Road and Beaver, down near the trailer parks. The resort owns that building, but we allowed the city to use it as a fire station. It didn't cost the city anything. Basically, nothing has not been touched and improved during this time. Improvements will continue. More homes have been built in the past 5 years than the past 20. The big issue right now is we're dealing with the departure of Wyndham. And we found out after the fact that was planned in 1986. And all their covenants in 1986, when 2026 got here, not only us, but 12 other places were closed. And they're now trying to auction them off in bankruptcy. And from what we understand, from our lawyer talking with their lawyer, they've still got significant money in their account. And they moved their deadline from July, because they had nobody bidding, until September 21st. If they get a bid in September, they said the closing would likely be next February or so, February or March. And we believe that they've got money to continue paying until they have a new owner. And then once they get a new owner, they will have to continue to pay their dues, fees, garbage, and everything else. The only thing that would change in that situation, right now they are an interval membership. Interval memberships have to pay 120 in dues versus 60. So if they go from being an interval membership to some other use, whoever buys them use them for, they would only be responsible for 60 a month. So 60 a month would translate to about, I'm assuming about 12,000 a month loss, and it would be very small in the scheme of things. That is pretty much the only thing I've got on my announcements. Next on the list is Secretary John Callaway to present the notice of dues calling to the meeting.
Okay, this is the due calling of meeting. Notice was served by U.S. mail to all members in good standing of record of the Fairfield Bay Community Club Incorporated of the annual meeting to be held at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, August 21st, 2026, at the Indian Hills Complex at Fairfield Bay, Arkansas. Notice was also served by posting on Lake Area Weekly and Facebook.
All right, next on the list is read the 2024 annual meeting minutes. John Callaway.
These are the minutes from the meeting in 2024. The annual meeting of the Fairfield Bay Community Club Board of Directors was held on Wednesday, August 21st, 2024 at 9 a.m. at the Indian Hills Complex in the Sunset Room. Directors in attendance were President David Baird, John Callaway, Ed Horstman, and Judy Sullivan. Shelley Dent, Robert Reed, and Jeff Smallman were absent. Also attending was Mike Penrod, General Manager, Sharon Boone, Assistant General Manager, and Beth Rain, Deputy Assistant General Manager. Melanie Maddox, Morgan Law Firm, was also in attendance. 17 people attended the meeting. President David Baird called the meeting to order and led the group in the Pledge of Allegiance. The prayer was given by John Callaway. Secretary Ed Horstman announced that due notice of the meeting was given to all property owners on July 26, 2024. Due to the lack of quorum, President Baird announced the annual meeting was adjourned and stated a regular meeting would follow.
All right, and I need a motion and a second to approve those meetings.
Just one correction, if I heard right, is Rory was general manager actually
In 2024.
last year.
No, this is 2024.
Oh, okay, I'm
Yeah, this would
sorry.
be-
I didn't hear right.
Because that year there wasn't an election, there wasn't a quorum, and
Okay,
so we had to adjourn. Now, this year, we've updated the bylaws a couple of weeks ago to where now on non-election years, when you cannot have a quorum by the ballot submitted, that the quorum is established by the mailing that we mail out and by public notice. That's why today we're actually to have the meeting versus adjourn, where 2 years ago, no one had thought about that. And now we've updated it. So when there's not an election year is established by the ballots cast. On every other year, it's established by the 30-day notice to the members. All right, I need a motion and a second to approve those minutes.
I'll make the motion that we approve the minutes.
And we need a second. Mike Penrod, discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And Sharon, if you will, if you can contact Shelley afterwards, give her the opportunity to vote. She is in Alabama on a pre-planned vacation. Next on our agenda is the financial report. Vice President Robert Reed is going to present this because Treasury Secretary Shelley Dent is not present.
I want to thank everybody for being here today. It's a good crowd. I'm going to try to read this to y'all as Shelley wrote it, so here we go.
Can you speak up, please?
I can do that, sure. I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about where we have been and where we are today and where we are headed as a community. When we look at our financial performance over the past couple of years, there are some very encouraging numbers to share. Last year, our revenue increased by $11,766, representing an increase of 0.08% increase over 2023. In 2025, however, we saw a much more significant increase. Revenue grew by $420,000, approximately 2.8%. But of course, revenue is only half of the story. What is equally important, and perhaps more evenly important, is what we did in those revenues. In 2024, our operating expenses, even excluding taxes, depreciation, interest, amortization, increased compared with 2023. In 2025, we were able to reverse that trend. Our expenses decreased by $208,000, representing a 1.43 reduction. When you combine those improvements in expenses with the increase of revenue, the result is significant. Our EBITDA increased by more than $630,000 in 2025. And ultimately, the numbers that matters most is our bottom line. As the audit final statement provided to everyone show, our bottom line improvement by $360,209 compares with 2024. That represents a 59.86% improvement. The numbers are more than just figures on a financial statement. They represent the result of decisions that were made. Costs were carefully managed and people who worked hard to move the community in the right direction. At the same time, we recognize the future will bring new circumstances and challenges to our community. We still are waiting to see how Wyndham's situation ultimately plays out. We are also adapting new lines of business and looking at additional opportunities that will allow us to continue to grow and strengthen our community. As that, in the midst, I believe the improvement will move forward. We're choosing to view these challenges as opportunities rather than problems, opportunity to adapt, opportunities to improve, opportunities to find new ways to serve our community and build a stronger future. Our managers and staff have been working extremely hard to make those opportunities happen. Many have put long hours taking additional responsibilities and demonstrate a personal stake in the success of this community. The comment does not go unnoticed. The manager and our staff, thank you, Roy. Thank you for your dedication and perseverance and the pride that you take in service to this community The improvements we are seeing today are in a large part a reflection of y'all's hard work. As we look ahead, there will undoubtedly be challenges, but we also have reasons of optimism. We also have demonstrated that we can increase revenue, control expenses, improve our financial performance, and adapt where circumstances change. Now our responsibility is to build on that progress. If we continue to work together, remain willing to adapt, and continue to look forward to opportunities instead of focusing on solely obstacles, I believe that we can keep this commitment moving in a positive direction. And I want to thank you for your continued support and confidence in your commitment to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Next on our list is General Manager Roy Bradley. He's just going to give us an update for President.
Good morning. I want to thank everybody for coming out today. For those that are in attendance, the ones that are joining in online, we greatly appreciate you coming in today. By looking at the audience, I can see real quick that it looks like I'm at a church function because the front row's empty. Being the good old-fashioned Baptist that I am, I can fully understand that. So I appreciate everybody coming out today. Like I say, my name's Rory. I see a lot of familiar faces in the audience. Some that I get to talk to quite a bit, a lot that I've never met. I want to encourage each of you to reach out to me anytime. I have a complete open door policy. Email me, call me. I find it a complete privilege to serve you, whether it's a compliment, concern, or a question. A lot of you have reached out this week. I've gotten 40 or 50 emails this week on questions concerning operations and whatnot. I appreciate each one of those. For those who I haven't gotten back to, I'm working on it. I've responded to most of them. So Miss Murphy, if you're in the audience, or Miss No, if you're in the audience or online, I am working on your request as well. So I'll be getting that back with you as soon as possible. It's been a long, challenging week, but I appreciate each and every one of you reaching out to me, giving the opportunity to talk and answer those questions. So I'm going to go over just a few things. I'm going to highlight some goals that we had for 2025. I'm going to touch on the 25 financial review, the audit, and just everything that I'm going to present there is coming straight from the audit. We're going to go over 2026 department reports, some financial information. A lot of you have reached out. I'm going to say 99% of the questions that I've had this week have been concerning hotel, Bayside, and restaurants. Those are basically the three main topics that I've gotten this week. We'll touch on a lot of that, occupancy rates and whatever comes with all that. So also we're going to touch a little bit on upcoming 2027 goals and plans. Okay. 2025 goals, you've heard me say it over and over and over again. We wanted to complete the 5-year project. One thing that I've said many, many times is our number one goal is to always increase revenues and control our expenses, cut expenses, improve our marketing efforts, and work on maintaining infrastructure and improve our amenities moving forward. Once again, I thank you for all the emails, phone calls, texts, with situations that we have going on at our pools, at all of our amenities. I can't express enough how nice it is to have an extra set of eyes out there. I can't be everywhere, even though I make weekly walkthroughs at all of our amenities. It's always a help to have people point things out to me where we can put it on the list and get it taken care of. Financial, just to highlight what Robert went over. We wanted to increase our revenues. We've increased our revenues by 3%, approximately $425,000 over the previous year. Like I say, these come straight off the audit sheet. We decreased our expenses by 1%, approximately $100,000. through better control on our cost of goods, we have $653,000 improvement on cost of goods sold. Our payroll was cut by $375,000. Now we get into a few things that we cannot control, that we don't have a whole lot of control over, which was insurance costs were up about $100,000. Our interest expense is up about $112,000. Utility costs were up about $104,000. And some unexpected repair and equipment on buildings was up $130,000. General administrative expense is up $508,000. So 2024, after depreciation and everything, we were at a $601,000, almost $602,000 loss versus last year, basically a $241,000 loss after interest, taxes, and depreciation. Our 2025 EBITDA numbers, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization was $1.2 million. Moving on, just into some of our amenities. Resort convenience store, kind of got these backwards. I want to start off with the financial performance first, but we some goals there. We want to continue to provide clean and excellent service at our convenience store. Our staff, we'll back up a little bit. Our staff does a tremendous job. We have just want to thank all of them for all their hard work and putting up with me and dealing with me during staff meetings and site visits, but they do a great job. We're also going to search out new revenue sources to increase sales by adding additional new inventory items that's been requested by our members and guests, and maybe a few more menu options inside on top of pizza, chicken. I'm sorry.
Chicken salad all year round.
Get a lot of requests for chicken salad. Yes, thank you, George. We want to continue to be competitive on our fuel pricing. I want to encourage each of you, if you haven't downloaded the Fuel Forward app on your phone, it's free. Download the Fuel Forward app on your phone. It saves you 15 cents per gallon on each fill up. And the first Tuesday of every month, that jumps up to a quarter a gallon on the first Tuesday of every month. So 2026 financial performance as of June 30th, after interest before depreciation, we were at $95,000 profit. In 2025, we were at a $200,000 profit. The marina, we want to continue to build on 2026 momentum by adding additional events next year. I don't know if you've had a chance, the marina is one of our highlight facilities. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to go to the marina and check out what's been done down there, but the changes and improvements down there are fantastic. I'm more excited about the restrooms than anything down there. So, it's a beautiful, beautiful addition down there. They've done a great job. Jordan has done a fantastic job down there. I'd hate to know that we're moving forward anything without Jordan on staff, but Jordan is a fantastic asset for our corporation. We've got a couple emails this week about creating additional discounts for member usage on rentals in off-peak times, which is a great idea. I don't know, like I said, I had 40 or 50 emails this week. That's one thing that we actually discussed in the last staff meeting. I had some staff in here. David was in the staff meeting, Chris and Dan, but we talked about maybe looking at taking some of our rental prices, making them more aggressive toward our owners during off-peak times, because a lot of people don't own boats. Had a couple of questions about asking if we can do that. We're definitely looking into that. We're going to look at adding additional lighting to the docks. And with the cooler spring weather, it was a challenge in the beginning of the season, but it went from 50 degrees to 150 degrees real quick. So the boating season kicked off a little later than normal. 2026 financial performance through the end of June. July financials just came out yesterday. We're approving those and hopefully get those out pretty soon. But this is through the end of June. After interest before depreciation for 2026, we're $220,000 profit at the marina compared to last year, 2025, with $180,000 profit. Cobblestone, hot topic this week as far as my email goes. I appreciate those emails. Going into 2027, we want to continue to build on 26, like I say, build on 26 momentum. Had a great year there so far at the Cobblestone. We work hand in hand with the center on groups and packages. Just met last week with Seth and drawing a blank. Seth and Emily, thank you. Sorry, Emily, if you're watching. On what we can do to enhance our marketing going forward is for groups and packages. Continue to work closely with Rocky Top Falls on wedding packages. Increase vacation opportunities for guests by filling package-specific requests. We have a lot of people call in and want to kind of do an a la carte vacation where they want to, they might not want to play golf, or they might not want to go to the marina, but they might want to hike, or they may want a UTV, they may want to golf, they may want to go to the marina. So we're in the process with our marketing team trying to identify what went well in 2025, let's just 2026. What went well in 2026, moving forward into 2027 and improve on that. 2026 financial performance through June 30th. After interest before depreciation, the hotel has lost $3,400. 2026 projected occupancy rate is at 22% compared to 2025 is at 17.66%. Now, that's a projected occupancy rate for the coming year. Where we stand now, moving forward, this is where we stand. 22% we feel is only going to increase. That's what's on the books. 2025 numbers is a hard number, 17.66% occupancy rate for 2025. So our occupancy rate's up. We'll continue to grow through the end of the year. 2026 total revenues year to date. What that looks like is we're at $366,000 total revenue as compared to 2025 at $318,000. This fall going forward, just talked to Emily last night. We worked on this till late last night. This fall we have 22 groups that have booked 909 room nights, totaling approximately $100,000 from now going till, that's between now and Thanksgiving. So the conference business, the package business looks great for the fall. 6 of those groups being weddings that account for 164 room nights, totaling almost $20,000 in revenue. Bayside, a lot of questions on Bayside this week. Bayside has done very well in 2026. Cody's done a great job and staff. We didn't open Bayside last year until August 1st, so there's no real comparison to give as far as what we could do 2025 versus 2026. I'll get some financial information here shortly. We're looking at offering different menu options, extending hours, maybe another day. Also taking that area in Bayside, marketing it for meeting space, catering private events on off nights. Conference room stays have definitely helped drive business, especially on Thursday nights when we open. Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night, with 3 nights that we're open at Bayside. 2026 financial performance through the end of June. No depreciation there. The Bayside has made almost $22,000 profit through the end of June. Golf course. Had another few questions on the golf course. Golf revenues are up almost $25,000 over last year. Added approximately 35 to 40 new members and several new events. Marketing fall golf packages right now. Working with Jeff and our marketing team, getting Mountain Ranch and Tannenbaum involved in the fall marketing plan. Moving forward to include those that are on the natural state golf trails David mentioned earlier. We also have 2 other golf courses that surround Greers Ferry Lake. They're on the golf trail as well, which is Eagle Mountain in Batesville and Red Apple and Heber Springs. So we're going to try to tie those 5 courses together for a fall golf package. Natural State Golf Trail, Arkansas Hospitality Association is going to help us promote that as well. We've added new tarps for the winter season for better protection. We had a little winter kill on the golf course this past winter. We lost grass on holes number 8, 9, and 17 due to the ice. We came back and resurfaced those greens, all paid for through IHGA funding at no additional cost to the resort. We have an Indian Hills Golf Association that actively pursues fundraising so we can do things and projects on the golf course, and the resort doesn't have to pay for it. 2026 financial performance through 6/30. Before depreciation, which this is the golf course, this is the pro shop, the green fees, it's made about $100,000. 2026 maintenance costs to maintain the golf course is at $243,000. You know, all our amenities, go back, touch on our amenities. Some amenities make a profit, some don't, and we know that going into the season. You know, these are all assets to our community and to our resort. Like I say, some amenities make a profit, some do not. Golf is one of those that we want to try to control the expense on that side, and it's getting better each year. Little Red, revenues in 2026 are pretty much square with last year, even though we were closed most of January and February due to upgrades. When I was looking at the sales reports yesterday for Little Red, our revenues are pretty much flat with last year. And we were closed basically most of January and February for remodeling. So take into normal consideration that we generally generate $40,000 to $60,000 in that time frame, would actually be up for the year if we'd been open in January and February. We added a couple of key pieces of equipment. Salad bar has been a great addition to the restaurant. We added a combi oven in the back, which allows us to do additional things on the menu. Cody has done some lobster. I don't know if you had any lobster over there, but it's fantastic. But the combi oven has been a great addition for us. Off-season planning has begun. I'm sorry?
Lobster.
We've done some lobster. Yes, lobster specials in there. Off-season planning has began. We're going to have some nightly specials, a special event promotion, and our marketing for the holiday season and parties as we go. Of course, we'll have our big Thanksgiving dinner coming up around Thanksgiving. That's always a success. Catering business has increased substantially. Cody gets a lot of calls for barbecue catering. The catering generates approximately $20,000 in additional revenue for the restaurant. 2026 financial performance through the end of June, before depreciations at a $40,000 loss compared to last year was about $60,000 loss. So maintaining those expenses has been a key goal of ours, and the staff has done a good job. Bowling alley, cool pool, recreation. Lots of calls on swimming pools this year. Been one of those rare years where we've had pump after pump after pump go out at all 3. Actually not at Mountain Ranch Pool, but we had pump issues at Hamilton Cove and pump issues at the cool pool several times over. The women does a good job staying on top of all that. We've added new furniture at the cool pool. Improvements planned in the off-season. I'm meeting with a couple of people, very important people to me, on Monday to walk through a couple of pools and go over a few things. So we're looking at regrouting, adding new tiles where needed, power washing, improving conditions at Hamilton Cove and Mountain Ranch by painting restrooms and adding new chairs and pulling the cord at those pools as well. Concentrated effort at Woodland Mead with better signage, improving our mini golf courses. We have a lot of growth out there where we have some poison ivy and poison oak. We sprayed it, trying to cut it back. It seems like we spray it with Roundup and it acts like fertilizer. It just takes off. I accused them of spraying triple 13 out there, so instead of Roundup, but we're doing our best to try to get those lined up. I know the back course in the tree area back there, can't think of the name of the course, I'm drawing a blank, but the one behind the kiosk, you know, it's in a pine tree area, and we can blow that thing off, and 10 minutes later, it looks like we hadn't even touched it. So we're trying to make additional, more frequent passes through there, keeping that cleaned up, and trying to do a better job keeping our mini golf courses in better shape. We're also adding new mulch to the playground area here, probably, hopefully at the end of next week. 2026 revenue performance, basically this is the bowling alley and cool pool. Dwayne's done a good job maintaining our expenses there. I do want to say this, as far as Wyndham goes, had a lot of questions. Rory, what has Wyndham done to our revenues? Well, I can tell you, as David mentioned earlier, through Memorial Day weekend, we were actually up quite a bit in revenues. We have noticed a slight dip in revenues in June and July, but taking both into consideration, we're pretty much flat with the same time frame last year. But 2026 revenue performance at the bowling alley and cool pool combined, basically because they're both food and beverage operations. Through the end of June, we were at a $21,000 loss as compared to last year, we were at a $46,000 loss.
Are you aware that the cool pool has a crack?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we sure are.
On the step side?
Yes, we sure are. We sure are. A lot of questions have asked, you know, there's a lot of grouting that needs to be done. But who in here has ever grouted their bathroom or shower? What happens when you grout your bathroom or shower? You can't use it for 2 or 3 days, 4 days. So we're kind of waiting until the off season to do our grouting and tile work at the pool. If we do it now, we'll have to shut it down during the hot season for a few days, let it dry. But so we're waiting till the off season to do a lot of that repair work. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. 2025 challenges. Did I skip something? Seems like I skipped something. Okay. No, I got it. Some challenges that we went through in 2025. Of course, the economy. I'm not the type of guy that want to try to blame anything on the economy because I think it's just a crutch that we lean on. But as we all know, the economy is a real thing. Our economy is not quite where we want it to be. A lot of people spending less money, but our marketing team is doing a good job staying on top of marketing our amenities. Employee pool availability and staffing has been a huge issue, which is basically the reasoning behind some of our shorter hours at some of our amenities. Nobody wants to work, I'll just tell you. The pool is very shallow. If they do come to work, they're not here long. So, but employee staffing has been an issue. Rising costs of doing business, everything goes up every year. Things we cannot control, fuel, insurance, utilities, as I mentioned earlier, have all went up. Unexpected repairs and maintenance, you try to budget for those as much as possible, but those pop up regardless if you're ready for them or not. Weather was an issue early, and of course the Wyndham departure filled those voids. We didn't know what. We were going into a situation here in Fairfield Bay that Fairfield Bay has never seen before. Fairfield Bay has never not had FCI or Wyndham or timeshares, unless it was very, very early on. So going through the budget process, a lot of you have asked about the budget process. We won't start a budget process until October, and we'll try to hopefully have that completed by the end of the year. But going into 2026, we kind of going into it blindfolded. You know, we didn't really know what the departure Wyndham was going to do. And like I said, we found out through, you know, heavily directly focused marketing campaigns that we were able to increase those revenues the first of the year. And we talked about the staff meeting the other day. Man, where would we be if Wyndham was here? We're actually flat or up a little bit with the revenues. So, but you know, if we coulda, woulda, shoulda, it's gone out the window, and we have to move forward. Immediate future goals, again, I'm gonna say it one more time. My main goal as your general manager is to help get our staff increase, we want to increase our revenues through effectual marketing campaigns. Again, control and decrease our expenses when possible. Improving our management skills through team building, training, setting clear and measurable goals for our staff, holding all of our staff accountable. Maintain and improve our infrastructure, roads, amenities, wastewater, beautification. Improve, adapt our marketing plan, what worked well, what didn't. Of course, we want to do more of what worked well, and we want to eliminate what didn't work at all. Customer retention, increase visibility, refine our target audience, and promote them directly. Improve our communication skills with our members. That's one of my main goals. Like I said earlier, I hope you guys know you can contact me anytime. If I have not responded to an email or a text or a phone call or a voicemail, I apologize. It's not because I'm intentionally ignoring you. Like I say, 40 to 50 emails, 20 voicemails, hundreds of texts. So it just takes a little time to get back to everybody, but I assure you that I will eventually. Poor Al emailed me 2 or 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, and I just got back to him this week. So we want to continue to work with the city chamber to help improve our community. Kevin Feeler, who's the president of the chamber, and Mayor Seth, we meet every Tuesday to discuss challenges, what's on the horizon, what we need to address, what we need to plan for. It's been a great meeting with those guys. I think very highly of those two. Definite asset to our community. Movement towards positivity. I want to encourage, everybody, nothing can be positive 100% of the time. We understand that. Stability out there, you got to have the counterbalance. We understand that. But I want to encourage everybody for a movement towards positivity. It's a choice. There's things that we have to, there's negative things that we have to address and take care of, and we understand that. We will. But, I want to encourage you all to wake up with a positive attitude. If there's anything that I can do for you, let me know. It's our duty, basically, to leave Fairfield Bay and our surrounding community better than we found it. And, we want to build on what others have done successfully in the past. I want to thank the board for their direction. Mike has been good to me. Being in the general manager's position, I've leaned on him for a few things, and we're all in this together. We want to hear from you. We want to address those concerns and take care of things going forward. I want to end with saying thank you once again for coming out today. Thank you for the emails, the phone calls, the texts. Keep them coming. I appreciate them. I appreciate the extra set of eyes. I'll always consider it a privilege to serve this community any way I can. Thank you.
Next on, this is just some follow-up. I wrote just a few notes of some things I thought of. Roy, you brought up the hotel. We got updated numbers last night, late last night. Barely got a chance to look at them. The hotel itself, 3,300 profit. Lost 3,300 loss. But Bayside, inside the hotel.
That was through the end of June. I have not had a chance to go through July.
Yeah, okay. Well, it'll probably be better. But the point is, if you take the Bayside, what it's made, and you subtract the other, we're probably around 17,000, 18,000 profit, which that's very good news. When we did the hotel, it was to keep it from opening. To keep it from being closed down and shuttered, which would have been even a more harder hit this year than just the Wyndham. Now Wyndham's closed, and the city lost out on 3 large conferences this year because the hotel wasn't big enough to take care of them, and they had to go elsewhere because Wyndham wasn't there to take up the slack. One of them was, I believe, the Realtors Conference, which is a statewide conference. So if Wyndham had to close, that would have helped us even more because of the fact we wouldn't have missed on those conferences. Think where we'd be at right now if the hotel would have closed also. that would have been not a good situation. And the fact that between the restaurant and the hotel that is actually making a net profit, that's extremely good news. We were hoping to at least break even, not lose. And we were even hoping more to make a profit, and so far, that's working out pretty well. That's one note. Next thing, when you reported the financials, the bottom line last year, revenues versus expenses, it shows a loss of $241,567. But included in that number is $902,000 of depreciation and amortization. But if you go back and look at the number before the depreciation, revenues less expenses before tax, depreciation, and amortization, we were plus $625,404. We are basically a not-for-profit entity. You know, although some of our amenities and some of the things we do make a profit, a lot of them are amenities. The golf course, the Little Red Restaurant. The good news is some outweigh the others. The marina, resort convenience, etc. So those are adding profits. We're lowering the profits at the other places, but the real number that's really significant is the $625,404, because I don't believe we paid any taxes. It's mainly the depreciation. That's what makes it negative. And if you look at it, you think, oh, they're losing money. We brought in $625,000 more than what we spent. So when you look at the whole line, that's something that's significant.
Yeah, I want to make that clear, that number, that last number is after depreciation, interest, everything.
Right. And it's a relevant number, but our depreciation right now is extremely high because of everything we've done the past 5 years. You know, when you improve everything and you fix up everything and you spend that money, then you start writing it off every year, which saves you from paying taxes. So the $900,000 depreciation is not a bad number. That means we've got things done and we've improved things. The $625,000 revenue over expenses is a good number because we brought in more money that went out. And the other number is just taking the two and subtracting them. So sometimes it sounds bad, oh, they lost 240, but you have to put it in perspective. It's actually good. And if we had a positive number, then we're not really doing what we're designed to do. We are not for profit. You know, at the end of the day, we want to break even every year. We make some good years, some bad, but that's some good information. One other thing I wanted to bring up, just so to get more people aware of it. A few months ago, we approved a leaf program. In the 55 years of Fairfield Bay, what do you do with your leaves? You either bag them up, take them to the leaf pile and have to unbag them all, or you burn them. Now we've got a new program that's in effect that as long as you use a recyclable or compostable bag, and put them on the curb. You don't have to call anybody, you don't have to be on the garbage day. Just pile them up and put them on the curb. When our garbage trucks comes around and they see the leaves there, they write down the names of the streets and they keep a list of them. And then once a week, they're going to go back with the name of those streets and pick up those garbage, the leaf bags. They won't pick them up the day of your garbage, but they will come one day that week to pick up the leaf bags. The only downside to the program is you have to use compostable bags or recyclable bags. The reason for that, if we didn't do that, number one, the landfill won't take leaves. We can't just take them and drop them off at the landfill like our regular garbage. But secondly, we can have a truck go around on its own and one day knock out the whole city. This will mainly be in the fall, when the leaves start falling. You have to use the compostable bags. We've got some for sale at Resort Convenience, which is open 7 days a week. You can get them at Walmart, you can get them at Amazon, you can get them at Harps. Anywhere you can get the compostable bags, that's good with us. The only reason we're carrying them at Resort Convenience, we're selling them at cost. Whatever we pay for them, that's what we're selling them for, not a profit. And it's just a convenience thing. And I believe you're setting it up where they don't even have to buy a whole box. They can buy like 10 or something, whatever they need.
Now, like when you go to a vegetable stand,
Right.
But we have, we can pull off certain out, rip them off, that's what we're gonna try to go to.
And the reason we're doing that, you're only gonna use them probably once a year. And a lot of them have 100 bags minimum if you order a box. This way, somebody thinks they need 15 bags, they can buy the 15 bags. And it'll take a little longer to do that, but at least it's a convenience thing. And instead of having to go to Public Works to get them, we did it at Resort Convenience because there's somebody there all day long anyhow. But this fall, if you don't want to burn your leaves, if you don't want to bag them up and then have to go unbag them, you know, down by Public Works, that's something new we started. And it's basically yard waste. If you've got sticks or small limbs, if it will fit in the bag and it's yard waste, hedge trimmings, vegetables, grass, weeds, put them in the bag, put them on the curb. Within a week, they're gonna come pick it up. It'll probably take a couple, 3 years before that really gets off. And the reason I'm bringing it up now is just so people will think about this fall, you know. It gives you another option and there's no charge for it. One other thing we've never done, or the club's never done, is say you had a tree that came down your yard and you go out there with a chainsaw and you cut that tree. You couldn't, the garbage people, Public Works didn't pick them up. You had to burn it or find something to do with it. Now we will pick those up, and that is treated the same as Dollar Truck. Now if you got sticks that goes in a recyclable bag, there's no charge. Just put them in the bag on the curb, you're good to go. But if you had a tree and you went out there and cut the tree yourself and you put it in a pile on the curb, call up Public Works, give them your address, they will come out in advance and tell you what they'll charge, just like they do Dollar Truck. Like Dollar Truck has different prices to compare to how much they're coming to get. Because the trees and the recyclable leaves, we take those to the quarry, it don't cost us anything to dump them. Where everything else we get, we have to take it to Clinton, and the landfill, and we have to pay for it. So that's the reason we're able to do that at no cost, because other than our guys going around throwing them in the truck the 1 day a week, and they don't have to go take it and unload it. When they throw out well, they don't even throw it out. When they push the button and the truck empties, within 6-7 days or a week or so, that bag is going to disappear and degrade, and that's the reason we don't have to empty them. But that's the reason we have to have the compostable bags. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do it for free, and otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do it at all. That's one other note that I wrote down, and that's really all I can think of. The next on our agenda is member questions. 3-minute time limit. More time may be allotted on a case-by-case basis. Is determined by the president of the board based on the relevance and appropriateness. If there's something that really needs discussing, we can go past 3 minutes, you know, if that makes any sense. And I've got my list here, and I hope I get this name right. I believe it's William Callahan, first on our list. It's William C. Yes, sir.
I'm here.
Yes, sir. Your first
Just
on
a quick question for the club and the board, and or any affiliates. Is there any intent to submit an offer to acquire the Wyndham assets by the club or the board or anybody else associated?
Well, right now, we are waiting to see what happens. We have there is yes or no, we haven't, no decision been made. What we're hoping for right now, we were sitting on pins and needles waiting for July 21st. Every day we're waiting, who's gonna buy it, hopefully, you know. We were hoping it was gonna be the Hilton timeshare people, you know. There was all kind of people that come to town, etc. From what we found out, nobody showed up to bid on them. They extended it to September 21st. So right now, we don't really know, and whether or not we would bid on them, I don't know. It could be a possibility, it might not. But our main goal is someone to buy them, keep them open, and keep the revenue going through there. I've called up and talked to the Hilco people because I was concerned that nobody showed up to bid.
Yeah.
And that's why they extended them 2 months. From what I understand, they had another viewing and a couple of people came around. And it's rumors, but I think there's other people that's gonna bid on them, but we don't know. We're hoping for it, but we don't know.
So the door is open for the club to potentially submit a bid, is what you're saying? Yes.
We could, I mean,
Good.
anything's possible.
Fair enough.
I mean, let me put it this way. This is me talking for me. You know, you're asking, I'm just talking for myself. Just like the hotel, we didn't want it closed. That would have affected everybody's property value. Our number one goal, we want to serve the members, keep the amenities up, but our number one goal is everybody's property value not deteriorating. You know, if you let everything get run down, the property value is going to go down with it.
I think we're all aligned with that.
Right. And if Wyndham, if they just closed down and nobody bid on them and they ran out of money, the only thing at that point we could do would be start filing liens. You know, in other words, they have to pay whether they're open or closed. And 3 or 4 or 5 years later, we could possibly foreclose. That would be the worst case scenario for everybody. We wouldn't have that revenue coming in for that period of time. We'd have them empty. If they run out of money, there's nobody gonna mow the grass. They're just
Do you
gonna,
have fear Wyndham's gonna run out of money?
not before the bankruptcy process is over. From what I understand, they've got quite a bit of money socked away. You know, when I made the call to them, which anybody can, you know, all of us, you can, I can, when I called them, they said if they got bids in September, that it would be likely February before something would actually happen, you know, and that's all between them and the bankruptcy court. So we're hopeful if somebody does bid that the money lasts to February, and then if somebody new owns them, then we can continue our, you know, collecting our dues, fees, etc. But
You're not intending to bid, at least as it stands now, by September or some days prior to your after
There-
club.
let me put it this way. We're a board. We talk about contingencies.
Okay.
We have discussed whether or not it would be a possibility, but we have not voted to bid on the Wyndham, and we're hoping that someone else bids on them. You know, it would be foolish if we didn't do it. Okay? If we didn't discuss that as a possibility, it would be foolish. The hotel would have been bad for image and for property values. If Wyndham was closed and they had nobody own it and buy it, that would be very bad. So as a board, we have discussed that as a possibility. However, you'd have to have financing, you have to get loan approvals. Don't even know if that's possible. You know what I'm saying? We don't have the money to pay for it. Whether we can get a loan or not, that's highly questionable, you know. We've got a $13 million, $700 loan. For someone to give a loan after that, don't know, you know. But it is in bankruptcy. From what they said when I called them, their bid deadline this time is September 21st. They did say that they've had people contact them. We don't know if they've made visits or not. We're not privy to that.
Sure.
And they said if there was a successful bid in September, that it would be likely February before they actually completed it, because they've got to go through all kind of stuff. You know, I don't understand it all. But you never say never, but even if we wanted to, I don't know if we could get the financing to be able to do that. If you make a bid, you got to have the money.
Already. Yeah. Okay, thank you. I appreciate
Okay.
it. Yeah.
All right, next on the list, Georgia Pfeiffer.
And I apologize for talking fast, but I got a lot to say in my 3 minutes.
That's okay. That's okay.
You mentioned the loan, just so everybody, just kind of want to make them aware, it's from the audit report,
Yes.
that we do have 2 new long-term loans from last year that were secured in November. One's over $14 million from the line of credit, and that's at 7.25%.
Yes.
And then on the hotel, 2.7 million at the end of the year, and that's 6.95%. So those two combined, just so you know, we will have to pay $1.6 million annually this year on those 2 loans.
Yes.
Now, when you say depreciation's not a bad thing, because depreciation is money that's already been spent, so we shouldn't even look at that on the finances, or we should add it back. But even though you say the money's already been spent, we're still paying it off.
Absolutely.
And still a cash outflow. My concern is Well, first of all, I do want to be positive. I love living here, and I want to thank Rory. He has cut expenses. I think there's probably not much wiggle room left because he's cut expenses a lot in this last year in 2025. I appreciate that. But historically, we lose money anyway. So I'm not sure how we're going to make our payment of $1.6 million. That's my biggest concern.
Well, we're making it. We started, the 5-year plan loan went from withdrawal period until repayment in December. We've been paying $111,000 a month, every month since then till now. And the hotel, I don't remember exactly what the payment is on it, but we've been paying that both since then. And we're paying our bills. We've got money in the bank. And, you know, we based this year's dues increase off of our budget, how much is coming in, how much is going out. And as long as, you know, the Wyndham was the unknown factor we worried about. And we don't react to it till you have to. And it looks like this year we're not gonna have to. We're paying our bills, we're good to go. And we did not raise dues or fees on anyone that had a home or a condo. We did raise fees on vacant lot owners, but they hadn't had an increase since 2018. Up until then, it had only been people that own houses and condos. And right now, it's month to month, weekly, but things are looking as good as they can.
So right now, you've got cash flow to pay that?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And you don't anticipate a raise in dues to pay that?
Not this year. I mean,
6 months.
you know, this is our second year in a row.
I'll be anxious to see that budget when it's put together on how that's
Absolutely.
going to work.
And next year will be dependent upon what happens with Wyndham. We're very positive and very optimistic, I guess is a better word, that they'll continue to pay through next February, and we'll make our budget before next February. And we'll have to assume that whoever buys them will keep paying. But right now, this year, we're good to go.
I'm glad. I just don't see where the money's coming from.
Well, I can tell you, they draft out our account every month and we're not overdrawn, you know. So, Dalen wouldn't have won anybody. There's not a week that goes by. We have a report that goes to the board. It's called Bank Overview. It shows how much money is each account. What is it, 14 days, the next 14 days?
Yeah.
It shows the expenses coming for 14 days. It shows the revenue coming for 14 days. That's a weekly report that the entire board gets, and we watch it every single week. The last one we got, I think it was plus 147,000, you know, more coming in than what's going out. Right now, as Roy said earlier, through May, we were up. Wyndham didn't affect us. But you gotta remember, most of Wyndham visitors came in July and August and June. So June and July, where we were up, now we're just a little bit lower. But we've only got really a month or two left of Wyndham's effect. You know, after that, they're not really gonna have effect because they weren't here anyhow. So by the end of the year, if we can increase the October, November, December, we might end up at least breaking even, which would be unbelievable, you know. But it's month to month and we watch it. That's what we do, all of us. Every week we get a report. Hope that answered you. Is that, yeah, because we're good. All right, next on the list is Al Pfeiffer.
Okay. Now is the time to do a project for the people who actually live
Can't
here.
hear. Could you stand and
Okay,
speak
sure.
up, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now is the time to do a project for the people who actually live here and pay the bills. Over a year ago, Rory told me that the club would provide the labor and some materials to install the pickleball lines, which have already been bought at the new pickleball courts. He said the club, had poles on hand and would sandblast and paint them as well as install them at the courts. It is time to do what Rory said you would do. The pickleball players have been waiting patiently for this to happen. We hope to have this project completed in a timely manner, say by the end of September. Will the general manager and board commit to this timeline, or will we be waiting another year for nighttime pickleball?
Roy, I hadn't heard anything about pickleball.
I can answer that, Al. So, yes, so, here's the situation that we're in. Okay, so, we had these matching grants for the stage and restrooms in town center, which is considered our entertainment district for the built a new stage. Our part of the commitment was to provide the labor to build those bathrooms, everything. So a lot of our staff, not a lot of our staff, some of our public works staff has been wrapped up trying to complete those projects. But I can assure you, I just talked to Darren the other day, a lot of the poles have been painted. I asked him, I said, fall's coming up. I said, when do you think we can get these lights up? Well, Joe, our electrician, we have Joe's our electrician, Brian Avey is our apprentice electrician. The list for them is from here to Jeff Smallman and back, and the projects we got going on. But I can assure you that's been addressed and discussed, and our goal is to hopefully have those set for our pickleball players by the time fall season goes around, so you guys can enjoy them at nighttime. So here's the cooler season. But that's our main goal, yes, is to try to get those completed. We have been working on them. We just, like I say, it's just a step-by-step process, but we have been working on them. So hope that helps.
That helps. And our maintenance staff, 5 years ago, we didn't have a maintenance staff, okay? We hired 2 people, full-time maintenance. And during the 5-year plan, we have a lot more people in maintenance. They did all the work up in Building 5, all the remodeling. Now we have 2 people that are in maintenance full-time. And as Roy said, their list is long. So they had to work, as he said, on the parking lot. Like we've had to do all the gravel work up by the Lions Club. And they've done a lot of work up where they're in the bathrooms. So,
And those grants have a
timeline.
have a timeline that you have to get those done by.
And instead of spending money on all that, we basically donated labor. That still costs you money, but it don't add to your bottom line. But they started the list, whatever's the most important, urgent, they do that first, and they go down the list. And thankfully, we actually got a pickleball grant. A couple of years ago, before we got it, I think they had applied 4 or 5 times, it got turned down. And we had actually started raising money to go do it ourselves. And recently, we took that money that we had raised and gave it to the city, I think, to buy the lights, if I'm correct.
Yes.
The money we had, that fund, we gave all up to the city to help out the lights. At the time, we were going to do the whole thing, and we had no choice. But it gets better. All right, next on the list, John Acuff.
My question was about Wyndham, and it's been answered.
Okay. Here's the thing. This is the end of the list. There's a lot of people here. If your name's not on the list, you got a question, just raise your hand. Yes, sir.
This is for Roy.
Yes, sir.
When you mentioned the audit, who completed the audit?
So the firm that we go through is called Landmark. They're out of Little Rock.
And, oh, good.
I was just gonna say it's a well-known firm out of Little Rock.
Next question is, as we are a nonprofit entity, but we do have amenities that make a profit, do they have their own separate EIN number, or are they linked in with our EIN?
Dale can answer that.
We have 2 EIN. There's wastewater company has the EIN, and then we have ours. There's only
Just technically, those amenities that make a profit should have their own EIN.
so they're just not separate entities. We are
Right.
financial. We track them as separate departments so that we can communicate transparency here and keep track of everything. But they're not their own separate entity. It's not the way they operate.
And from my understanding, we're not a nonprofit, we're a not-for-profit. Whatever the difference is, I don't really know.
There's
But-
no difference.
Well, it's just, that's what it is. I've saw the corporation papers.
When it comes to money, there's really not a difference. Of independent nonprofit.
I saw you first. The ponds, I believe.
Yes, it's Hans. I heard the possibility that you will raise our dues in the future. There's at the moment over 200 houses for sale in the Bay. You raise our prices again, there'll be 400 and 500, and that'll be the end of it.
And the answer, is there a possibility? Absolutely. Do we know for sure? No. If you could look at the covenants and the bylaws, the number one responsibility of the board is to evaluate every year, make a budget, and then make sure that you can pay that. And after you do your budget, you make a decision annually, once per year, on dues and fees. The last 2 years, none, other than the vacant lots this year. And the reason we did that, because the people that own a house and condo, they paid the brunt of the increases before that because of all the improvements. They paid most of the improvements. Our goal right now is, your goal is no dues ever, but you can't answer in the future. We don't know what the economy does. We don't know what's going to happen with Wyndham next year. We don't know. But it's a once-a-year evaluation, and right now things are looking good, but I can't answer that question.
As a follow-up,
Yes, sir.
we don't live on a yearly basis here. That for most of us, this is retirement. We plan on staying here.
Yes.
Your job is to make it possible for us to stay here. So please be frugal and keep us in mind.
I can promise you and guarantee you, you can't get any more frugal than what we've been. You know, we have, just like the other gentleman said, we've cut everything to the bone. If there's any way to save money or to buy something, just like our garbage truck, our backup garbage truck conked out. It's gonna be $14,000 to put in a new motor, and unknown whether it would even work. We bought a like new, very good shape used garbage truck for $24,000. Our guys like that used truck better than your new truck. And so we could have went out and bought a $150,000 new truck. We didn't. That's part of being frugal. I mean, any way we can save money on purchases, cut back on labor, anywhere. And since the day Roy has been GM, he has a staff meeting. Is it weekly, Roy?
The goal is to meet weekly. We meet weekly most of the time, but every now and then it goes to every other week.
Right. And that's what they discuss, is where they can save or where they can increase revenue. And I'll be the first to say he's done outstanding. I mean, it's been a huge turnaround. Huge. Yes, ma'am.
I was wondering about the $10 fee
Yes.
for every month. Can you?
Yes. All right, here's the deal. Then I'll be glad to explain this. Like we said, we're cutting money everywhere we can to save. The biggest expense we have is labor. Labor. When someone mails in a check and comes in the mail, you have to open that check up, you have to log it, you have to go to the account, you have to set it up, you have to deposit it in the bank, and then the people that don't pay and that are late, then you've got to go back on those. That's okay.
Another soundtrack.
That's okay. You have to go back and send a letter. Like if their payment is 1 day late because of the mail, you have to go out and mail a letter to them and spend more money, etc.
What about the people that are having it taken out of their, all right, so like, we have ours taken out every month, automatic payment.
Yes.
But it's not through our bank account, it's through credit card.
You don't have to pay the fee if you're doing the credit card.
Okay, well, they told me I did.
No. If you go back and look at the original post on that, if you pay by a credit card, if it's a debit card, there's no charge. The only charge on that is then, what's the percentage, Dalen?
Well, we don't have anything set on that part right now, but that is something. But there's no charge if you don't have to call in and prompt our POA department to do anything, then there's no charge.
There's no percentage of the payment.
No, not current.
Well,
that is I know.
It was supposed to be. I didn't know what.
Yeah. If it's a credit card, that is something that is yes, but I don't have.
But until now, we didn't set up the credit cards on automatic draft. Now we do. So we increased that option. And so the thought behind it was, this is what's costing us money, this is costing labor.
I get that.
You make it more efficient, and that is a voluntary thing. You know, if you raise dues on, and you raise dues on everybody.
Right.
But in this case, somebody's got a choice that they don't want to pay it.
Right.
And so, that's the process behind it.
And the other follow-up to that was, could you possibly think about if you pay a year in advance, maybe giving, instead of a 12-month, you can pay 11 months, get your 12-month free, because then you don't have any extra paperwork, you don't have anything extra.
I can answer that. The reason we can't is it would be illegal to do so. Because if you did that, it's not like a private business. If you did that, one member would be paying less than another member. And even though they paid in advance, they would still pay more. We looked into that 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay.
Legally, you can't. Like we've had some people say, why do you charge $120 if you pay annually when it's only $10 a month? The answer to that is all goes into legality.
Right.
If the fee is $10 per month, you still have to charge for 12 months. Otherwise, you're charging people different rates, and then you've got a lawsuit filed against you.
Okay.
So it might not make sense, but there's anything we do nowadays, we ask legal. Because there's people out there every day that's looking to file a lawsuit, which costs everybody money. So everything we do, we make sure of it ahead of time. And I think, yes ma'am, you're next.
Yes, nothing been mentioned about the roads, and I'm wondering what the plan would be toward improving our roads.
I can do that. So, I'm gonna, okay, well, listen, this year, the city has done a lot of stuff, more so than the past. The striping, etc. But, as everybody knows right now, because of the Iran war, gas has went crazy. Went from $2.19 to $3.99. We purposely decided to not do hardly anything on roads this year. Number one, because we were worried about winter. You can't go out spending money and then what if the bottom dropped out, okay? Secondly, because the roads are strictly tied to the price of oil. If that makes any sense. You could end up paying twice as much this year and get half as much done. And so, because of the Wyndham situation, we decided to put off. However, I will say this much. There is a developer that is spending between now and September 1st on their own over $160,000 on the roads down near Grand Isle. So if you see a bunch of stuff happening down near Grand Isle, we're not paying for none of that. None of it at all. In other words, before you can chip and seal a road, the most expensive part is getting a new road ready. So the developer on their own is paying that. And then they said, look, we need y'all to chip seal those roads. And we said, we're not doing any roads this year, we're watching our money, we're being careful. So we made a deal with them, if they will reimburse us for the chips and the oil, that we will do 2 miles of road. And the agreement is, if they get through by the 1st of September getting the roads prepared, that we will come and chip seal that 2 miles for them, and they're gonna pay us $40,000. If it's 36, we made $4,000 profit off that. If it's 44, we lost $4,000, and it'll depend on the price of oil the first week of September. So when you see some roads getting chip sealed down near Grand Isle area, I haven't been down there. The guy, still amazed, he paid $167,000 privately, and he's paying us another $40,000 to reimburse us. It will cost us a little labor, but we're thrilled because we're getting 2 miles of road that we really don't have to pay for.
David, you want to touch on Beaver?
You know more about that than me.
Is the developer's name available? It sounds like a heck of a good developer.
It's Downs Farms. I think it's Downs Farms. This gentleman that I'm referring to has bought over $600,000 worth of land from the club. The area down on Sunnyside, he bought all of that a couple, 3 years ago. Thrilling. Roy, can you go on the Beaver on the road?
Yes, everybody's been up and down Beaver Road from 330 down to West Cliff, and it will just beat you to death going down through there. But Beaver Road is scheduled for an overlay in October, barring any major setbacks. There will be an overlay from 330 down the west.
What about Dave Creek? It's your main thoroughfare and it's potholed to death.
It has, we understand, realize it, we know we're working on it every day. That was discussed the other day.
If y'all can, please, maybe where everybody can hear.
So,
Use the microphone, please.
there's not a microphone, I'll talk a little louder. So, everybody heard me clear on Beaver? So Beaver Road from the four-way on 330 down to West Cliff, where you go back to the marina, will be overlaid in October. That's the plan, barring any major setbacks. That will be a complete overlay. Mr. Willie or Willie?
It's Todd Willis.
Todd Willie. Okay, Mr. Willie had asked about Dave Creek, which is the main thoroughfare through the town center. That was discussed. That was discussed about 2 weeks ago in a meeting with city officials. That's going to be our next major project. Hopefully not, probably won't happen. We're looking at probably late 27 or early 28 would be a possibility on Dave Creek.
And to follow up on that, anything that's asphalt that is unbelievably expensive, we don't have the equipment. And the city usually every 2 years will get a grant from the state. A few years back, they did Lost Creek. Last time was Sneed. The next one is on the list, if I'm not mistaken, is Dave Creek. And that's the reason a couple of years ago, we went and crack sealed all the little black lines you see everywhere. We crack sealed it to preserve it a little bit longer until we don't want to convert Dave Creek into chip seal or Lost Creek. So we work with the city where they get their rollback, turnback money to do the main roads on a rotating basis, and we try to keep them in good shape. And then the chip seal, we got the equipment to do it ourselves because that's a lot more economical. So that's why it's on the list. Sneed was more important at the time. Now the next on the list would be Dave Creek. And it all depends on how much money they go and the price. That the city helps us out on that. Who was that?
This lady in the back had her hands up. This lady in the back.
Yes, ma'am.
We can go back to roads later, and I'm sure we will. You said that staff was hard to maintain. They don't want to stay. Why is that?
Great question.
The area in which you live.
You know, we're hiring right now, and I mean, we have positions available in public works, all of our restaurants. Nobody wants to apply.
Is the pay low?
No, ma'am. We're very competitive. Actually, pay more than most people when it comes to amenity activity. We're very competitive.
Okay. I noticed that Jansen's, talking to one of their servers, they own that apartment building next door, and they let some of their summer help, who are generally college students, live there. We have available housing. It might be something to consider, that you might be able to get some college students in here to do something. And even with the university, you might work out a work-study with them.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We have looked into that. It didn't work out at the time, but I appreciate you bringing that up, and we have looked into it.
And one thing to follow up, Fairfield Bay is, the majority of the citizens are retirement. You know, they're retired. They're not looking for jobs. So our work pool, for the most part, comes outside Fairfield Bay. And a lot of people either don't have the transportation or they're not willing to drive that far. And that reminds me, one other thing I forgot to mention, the mowing program this year. We've done the best this year than in the past 5. And how do we do that? Start off good pay, bonuses, hourly, and every 2 weeks, if you make it 2 weeks, it worked. So it took that kind of thinking outside the box to get the mowing done this year. And I think everybody in here has probably noticed that. What a difference. Wow. It cost us money. It did cost us money, but I think it was money well spent. Yes, ma'am.
I have a few questions. How much is our reserve fund?
Reserve, right now the balance is $1,478,000. The reserve fund is $35,000 more than what's required for the loan. But it said,
What is the $13 million loan for?
that was the 5-year plan
Oh, okay.
that we used to spend, to do everything that was done. And in the reserve, every month, our reserve, we could take money off of that. Right now, it's got $35,000 more than what's required.
Okay. And then another question I have is, you talked about the possibility of purchasing Wyndham. When y'all purchased the hotel, we knew nothing about it.
Right.
And so what is the dollar amount that the board is expected to in order to purchase something without order approval?
There is no dollar amount.
So y'all could go buy Wyndham and not tell us, and then we would end up paying for it with our dues and things like that. Is that
Is, the answer, as long as it wasn't a timeshare or an interval membership, the answer would be yes. But the likelihood of that happening, if we wanted to, is very unlikely, because you'd have to have the money to do it, and I don't think we could get a loan. But I don't know. Who knows?
So why, so there's, the reason is why the hotel was because.
Why did we do it?
No, I understand why
Right.
you did it, I get that,
Right.
I'm all right with that. It's just that, I'm not used to the board being able to spend that much money without a quorum of the others. So that's why I was asking.
Well, we followed all the rules, I can tell you that much. I mean, it was, we didn't want to buy a hotel. There was not a single person on the board that wanted to vote to buy the hotel. It was the last on the list, but we had a choice. We've got to protect y'all's interest, your property value.
I get that, but thank you for that part. And the other thing is, I'm sorry, I'm new to this, so could y'all introduce yourselves to the board?
Yes. Introduce yourselves.
My name is Bill DeClark.
And what position do you do?
He's a board member, he's just a board
Just a
member.
board member?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, nice to meet you.
John Calloway, and I'm the secretary.
Connell Stewart, just a board member.
Robert Reed, Vice President.
Mike Penrod, I'm a board member.
And Shelley Dent is not present, she's the treasurer.
Hi.
That's it.
And you are?
Dave Bard, I'm the president.
Oh,
I got a question. I've been holding up.
Go right ahead, and I'll get you next, ma'am.
Thank you.
No, you go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
You said you go ahead.
You're next.
It's all, my question's about this bagging the leaves.
Yes, yes.
Some of us physically can't really do that. That's a very hard job to do. And some of us have a lot of leaves.
Yes.
And we can't, some of us can't afford to hire somebody to bag those leaves.
Yes.
So my question is, are we going to be able to continue to burn
Absolutely.
next year, the year on, and so forth?
Nothing changed what you do before. All we did was add another option.
Okay, because I'd heard we couldn't burn.
No, that's just, you hear a lot of things, but it's not always true. The only way that would happen is, that would be a city issue. Ma'am, back there in the back.
Yes, I was just wondering where the financials are for the mini mart.
Mini Mart. Roy, we got them.
If you, does everybody have my contact information? It's easy to find. Well, the reason we present the amenities that I did today was main questions that I had this week on those amenities. And those are the main amenities that move the needle on our financial operations. So if you ever have any questions or anything like that, please email me and we can give you a financial summary like we present at each board meeting of that amenity.
Well, I'd just like to know if it's profitable or not.
Okay, so
I'm looking it up right now, Roy. I haven't just looked at it.
Yeah.
Our financials are 65 pages long, and you have to scroll down until you find it. I'll have it. Almost there. if anybody else has a question while we're doing this, that's fine.
Quick road.
I'd like to know why the board has the authority to change the bylaws without any input from the residents.
I can answer that also. Sharon, what year was it? It was 2006, I believe.
2000
In 2006, there was an initiative for the members to vote on that said the board can change the bylaws by a vote of 5 out of 7. So over 20 years ago, I don't know the reason it was brought up at the time. I think maybe it was because they were looking into about building a hotel. At one time, they were talking about building a hotel right out back here. And when that was voted on, I think it was 70% voted in favor of it at the time. But that happened 20 years ago, but I don't know the particulars of it all.
Going with the bylaws, the board makes it impossible for board or for us club members to introduce bylaw changes, but you members as a board can just change them on a whim. That's not right.
That's what the rules are. We didn't make the rules. We didn't vote those rules in. And the member, it's just like a congressman.
How can we change them?
Let me finish answering, please. It's just like if you vote for a senator or a congressman. The congressman, you vote that representative, they make the laws, they vote on it, majority rules. Everybody here was voted for. If a rule is changed, it has to be an idea, and it has to be a majority vote. And so that's basically what America's founded on. I mean, there's no different than anything else. I mean, individually.
Board members are corrupt.
Okay, well, that's not appropriate, and your questions are done. Yes, sir.
Is the April 29th, 25 bylaws the most current version?
They are.
We changed them last week.
About 2 weeks ago, they've already been published. There was a paragraph that was added that said on non-election years, you can, in other words, in the past, it was election every year, and you had a quorum by your ballots. But on non-election years, we didn't have a quorum, and so we changed them that the quorum on non-election years can be established by notice to the members. Otherwise, today, we would have had to adjourn the meeting and couldn't have even had the annual meeting. And that was changed 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was published a week or so ago. Sharon would know.
Is that the only change subject to the 29th of April 25?
Within the last 2 weeks.
Within the last 2 weeks.
I'm saying, is this the current version subject to those changes? You only added a couple things regarding.
No, there was one paragraph added only that allowed us to have a quorum today. Just like today, we approved the minutes for 2024. In 2024, we had to adjourn because there wasn't a quorum.
Is Article 11 still, has it been changed?
Nothing has been changed other than that one paragraph.
They're on the website, you want to look at them.
Okay, yeah, no, I have.
And, all right, I've got the mini mart, I got the mini mart information. Give me just one second. On the resort mini mart, I found it, going to the bottom line. Operating profit and loss, last year was $22,494, this year is $22,253. So the mini mart has lost as of July, $22,000.
Up or down?
All right. Yes, sir. 22,000 loss for the resort mini mart. Yes, sir.
Woodlawn Road, if you're going to have heavy equipment coming into Grand Isle?
Yes, Grand Isle area.
Well, they go into all those heavy trucks and equipment that's going to damage Woodlawn Road even more, which is in a state of disrepair. And furthermore, on the steep sections, okay, in an El Nino year, we could have torrential rainfalls. On the steep sections, the outside drainage of these roads is already undermining the road in some spots. I've seen you did something about one spot.
Yes.
But can we please do something about it? Because if this happens and there's a likelihood, we are stuck. We can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we're not going to let Woodlawn close, I can tell you that much. And We cannot control who drives on the road. They're public roads, and if someone is driving to build their house, we can't control that. If it damages the road, we'll have to do it on a case-by-case basis when we get to it. You know, that's something we can't control, but we will react to it.
Well, since you have a contractor that is apparently willing to spend money, maybe they can fix what they destroy.
We can't control them, okay?
Well, don't let us spend it, okay?
They're spending their own money, 160. All right, we're coming in close, just 1 second, now, one more.
Who do we call to clear the ditches that are,
Public Works, and Roy, do you have the number?
Yes, call Public Works. The number of Public Works is 501-884-6020. You can also reach out to me anytime.
there's just a few spots that are actually covering the culverts, so it goes across the road.
Yes. Darren and I drove around a couple weeks ago. We looked at, the gentleman brought up the wash areas. We have several on Woodlawn. We're also, hopefully, once the grass stops growing and we have a little time, we're going to start working on the canopies and trimming the canopies and keeping those back so we can be scratching the RV.
And one more question, we're gonna go ahead, one more. Al, go ahead.
Is the individual working on the new road been declared as a developer?
Yes,
So he's not paying any dues?
not on the lots that he bought from us to develop, no. No, dues.
Just real quick, George, they are, the new bylaws are on the website. I just scrolled down, if you click on, there's a spot where you click on 2025 and it says April 29, but right above that it says click here for the most recent bylaws. You can click that statement and the most recent ones show up.
And you'll see the writing on it is a little bit different font, and you'll be able to tell it it's just one paragraph that said we could have a quorum today. One more.
I just wanted to read one thing, and I'm just, because I hear a lot of talk about the hotel and other types of administrators, and I just was curious. Unless I'm misunderstanding something, Article 11, Section 1, which is the members' right to vote, petition about that, it says, members shall vote on the following issues. Changes that would alter the character of the club, example, acquisition by club of a hotel.
If you read the rest of it, the whole thing.
Or resort units timeshare.
Right. And so if a hotel or Wyndham or whoever, we cannot buy something and put it as a timeshare. And the reason they wrote that into the bylaws back in those days is because they didn't want the community club to compete with Wyndham. That was the reason they put that in there. In other words, you can't, back in 1992 when the community club was formed in the bankruptcy, the purpose behind that was...
David, hold on.
Yes.
I don't mean to interrupt you, I'm reading it at face value here.
Right.
There's an or there, okay?
Right.
It says acquisition by club, as capitalized,
Yeah.
of a hotel or resort units for timeshare.
Right.
Those are separate
It says
entities.
hotel or resort for the purpose of timeshare. And I can tell you this much.
It says hotel resort units for timeshare.
Well, let me put it this way. It says the hotel resort is the same thing as lodging. In other words, that was lodging. We could not compete with Wyndham in 1992. In other words, when they came out of bankruptcy, before any decision was made, we got a legal opinion and we published it at the time. You can go on the members forum right now and type in cobblestone. You can go back and read it all.
Why would you not put it to a vote though when it's pretty black and white?
I can answer that quickly too.
People should.
Because we had a confidentiality agreement with the owners at the time.
The owners of Cobblestone, okay.
Yes, there was a confidentiality agreement.
Okay.
We couldn't discuss what we paid for rent. We couldn't do any of that. And after the fact, we even had to ask them because they were trying to sell it to other people at the same time. So they weren't going to allow us to put out information that might harm them. We did what we were having to do. We followed the rules. All right.
Okay.
All right, go right ahead. If it's quick. If it's quick.
That's okay, that's okay.
It's not a problem if it's quick.
No, that's fine.
All right, I'm going to accept, John.
Yeah, sir, what was your name?
Me?
Yeah.
Todd Willis.
Okay, Sharon, I want the minutes to show that Todd called the board corrupt in a public meeting. I want you down on the record for that.
That's right.
Well, good.
I have no qualms with that.
Okay, good.
One thing I want everybody to remember, everybody sitting here is an unpaid volunteer. We don't get paid anything. It's not a fun job. You never get any praise, but you get attacked online. Personally, you see my name every day. Crook, this, that. Every day of the week, people make stuff up and lie about you. You get paid nothing for it. So it is what it is. You know, that's one, and that is one reason people won't run for the city council or the board, very many, because they're not willing to subject themselves to that. There's nobody up here that's corrupt. There's nobody up here that's not out every day working, trying to come up with better ideas to make things better. That's 100% fact.
Many of the corruption is the process is corrupt.
Thank you.
That's not what you said.
I know what I said.
Okay,
I know exactly what I
I want
said.
the notes to show exactly what you said.
I know exactly what I said.
I'll take a motion and a second